Hello, and welcome to That's What I'm Trying to Tell You, the podcast where women from different generations sit down to share their unique perspectives on life, current events, and everything in between. So join us as we navigate through topics with laughter, a little wisdom, and a whole lot of authenticity. The older I get, the more I realize that certain things that we all have to use aren't built for certain people, right? Like I have a large bust, and I swear to God, every time I try to put the seatbelt on in the car, I have to adjust it because it just digs right into my carotid artery. So I'm constantly, as I drive, I have to adjust, pull it over my tits, pull it down. If I'm not adjusting the seat to accommodate my back, which hurts sometimes, or my hips, it's like I think some things could be better designed and thought out.
I actually have an issue with the seatbelt too. I think maybe it's because I'm short and I pull it across and it does that same thing. It cuts across my neck.
Yeah.
And so whenever I'm driving, I'm constantly either putting my left hand underneath the seatbelt to kind of pull it away from my body or something. And they used to have a minuscule adjustment on some cars,
Pull it
but
down.
I mean, it was an adjustment of like an inch, inch and a half. I'm
Okay.
like, okay, I'm sorry, that's not enough, but that's very annoying. That's very
It's the
annoying.
same with me.
Seatbelt.
And if you come to a sudden stop or you're going down a hill or whatever and it
You
locks
choke
on you,
yourself.
exactly.
Yeah.
And I'll say this just as a
Claustrophobic.
sidebar to people, you should have in your car a seatbelt cutter, and it should not be in your glove compartment. It needs to be in your side pocket, and also a glass breaker, piercer. Looks like a little hammer. You just hit the point on it. I know we're in Southern California and it's highly unlikely that we drive off into the ocean, but you should have those tools. I'm 4'11", everybody knows, so nothing is comfortable to me. I've even tried putting a cushion, when I drive so I can be up higher, but I'm constantly adjusting to.
Well, it's like if you're short, like both Dee and I are short,
Mhm.
if you use a cushion to raise yourself up, then your feet can't reach the pedals.
Right.
Dangling.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm constantly like driving with the ball in my foot.
Me too.
I don't.
And I'm constantly thinking like, oh my
Which
God,
puts a
let
strain
me
on
be
your
safe.
foot.
Exactly, because I don't want to have to, if your airbag pops out on you, you're in trouble.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of seats, I have a beef with the airlines. I'm sure everybody does, but it's like, you sit in the seat. I'm not that big of a person. I'm not skinny. I'm not a size 0 or something, but I think I'm kind of average. In fact, I'm probably smaller than the American average. And you can barely fit into those seats, right? When you put the armrest down, you're really constrained and jammed into
And
the
then if
seat.
you're sitting next to somebody, getting
Oh,
up, going, oh
yeah.
my God,
Yes.
Yeah.
it's a terrible experience.
I mean, now there's been a lot in the news with Southwest Airlines changing their policy, right, and going to reserved seats instead of open seating.
Oh, they are now.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
All
And so
these years.
I guess they've made some other changes too. So apparently, larger people really liked their old policy, which was you would buy 2 seats, but if the plane was not full, then you were refunded for
The
that
extra
extra
seat.
seat. But now they're making you buy 2 seats. But I mean, I kind of, like I said, I'm not super small. So, I mean, I have sympathy with people that, are larger than, a size 6 or something. But also, I've been on many flights on an airline where supposedly, right, it isn't this the policy that you're supposed to buy 2 seats if you feel that you can't fit comfortably into one, right? But I have been on so many flights where the person next to me has taken up a good seat and a half, and I'm squished into that half, leaning out into the aisle or squished up, or I have to turn sideways. So
Breathing
I'm
in their air.
yeah, well,
Yeah.
I'm just sort of at a loss, and like we pay this much money to fly on these airlines, and you're crammed in like this.
Totally.
I have a question for you while you're saying that. I know that you recently flew an airline that flew out of a smaller airport
Oh, right,
that
right.
was more accessible, where you just literally go to the hangar and get on.
It
Was it a different experience?
amazing.
Okay.
Amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know what they call those. So
Concierge airline?
maybe this particular one is called JSX. They are pretty limited in where they fly to, but you fly out of it's not a smaller airport, but it's a smaller
Hangar.
portion of the airport. Yeah,
Mhm.
so you go to a private hangar. I don't know how many people that the plane sits, maybe 100 or so.
Well, that's already an improvement.
Right.
Mhm.
But it's like you just walk in, you check your bag. It's free to check your bag, and then you sit in this nice lounge, and then when the plane is ready, they say, "Okay, it's time to board." And you get on, and all the aisle the one that I was on, it was either a single seat on one side of the aisle and then a double on the other side. But the seats were larger, you had a decent amount of legroom, and it was great. And you come off the airplane, and they bring your luggage to you, and you're out, and it's just
Now,
such
ease.
a different yeah, I mean, there's so many issues with traveling that stress me out. I can't walk very well distances, so negotiating an airport, I swear to God that you probably walk at least a quarter of a mile
Mm-hmm.
trying to get
It's a city.
yeah, from the gate from the where you enter the airport to your gate, dealing with all those lines for security. You have to stand forever to get through security. It's super stressful,
Makes
and
you feel like cattle.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, and I just think for anybody with any kind of mobility issues, that, like, triples the stress.
Mm-hmm. Of course.
To plan ahead, really. You know, it's as you're saying all these things, it's making me think. I'm literally getting an image in my head of 1960s footage of plane travel, like when you had
Oh, yes.
the seats looked huge.
Oh,
Okay, you
it's
could
wonderful.
smoke. That's kind of sucks,
That
right?
that was that's the word that was the worst part.
Yeah,
But
like
Had china
China.
and silverware. I
dining
remember that.
service, all of that. It was just a little bit
It was
that
wonderful.
little bit extra nicer, like we talked about in dressing up for the steakhouse in our
Right.
a couple episodes back. That little extra bit of service on behalf of the airline that makes all the
it's
difference.
huge.
Everything is so corporatized now, and you can totally tell, and it freaking sucks. And I don't know what it takes for these companies to realize, okay, it might cost you a little more to bring that level of
Mhm.
quality back, but there are people that will pay for
No,
that.
you know what? If you
I
if you
want it.
build it, they will
We're some.
come. It's true. It's all about like what kind of experience you desire to have. Just like Kat flew that airline,
Yeah.
I will do that. Like we have started flying first class no matter where we go. I don't care if it costs extra money. I don't care if I need sky miles. I don't care. That's just the experience that I desire to have. Because I remember when Jay was in college, that was my last time. I said, I'm never doing this again. My arm felt like my rotator cuff was torn from sitting holding my arms inward
Keeping
because
your
I was,
personal space.
yes,
Yeah.
I'm not doing that anymore. And
Yeah.
you're right. Just like this pet airline I sent to both of you, where you can fly with your
Right.
pets.
Right.
I
Right.
would
It's
love
like
to have
first
that
class
experience.
with your pet.
Yes. People who can do that will do that.
Absolutely. There's a market for everything. To all the other things, like, well, we've talked about clothes before, but with clothes now, like, what do I have to do to find the quality that I'm searching for? Maybe there's some service. I mean, okay, somebody might say, okay, Chat GPT.
Or
Put
yeah,
in,
you
you
have
know.
all your clothes made bespoke. I mean,
Right,
that's one way to
right.
go.
go that extreme, but I know one thing, D, you are always raving or giving a negative review about the height of the toilets in the bathrooms. You prefer one that's a little lower to the ground because of your height and with
Yes.
a little more functionality to it.
I think about little people all the time.
Yeah.
First of all, I don't like the seams in the doors, but I think about people who are physically challenged and little people because I can't even imagine having been a nurse, I know how challenging it can be to transfer someone, and I can't imagine going in and being in a wheelchair or something. You got to take the side off, then you've got to literally transfer yourself upward onto these
Touching
high
all kinds of nasty stuff.
commodes. Exactly. And I would just say this, I had a wonderful, actually just kudos to the Lowrys in Beverly Hills for having these low, Kat, you were with us. We went to a function there and they had these low toilets that a kid could get on, that a physically challenged person could get onto. And I'm like, why can't they do that for people?
Yeah.
Everything was low. The seat covers, you need accessibility. Even
really
people
do.
who have arthritis, you have something in your arm, you can't reach up to put your hand to do, they need to think about
They
that.
do, or just more of things. Like I've often thought, like, why, unless it's like at full capacity a building, why are we waiting in line for a toilet? Like when you go somewhere,
Right.
like standing
Right.
in line for 5 minutes, like they couldn't have put in more access points and like another little small bathroom somewhere where we could all divert, high traffic times too.
I wish they'd also
Yeah.
add some ventilators too, like you have the oven over your
Oh
stove,
yeah, more airflow.
the
even
vents that suck air out.
Mhm.
I think maybe we touched on this once before, but the other thing is, could you please make the stall like 1 foot deeper?
Yeah.
Yes,
Because
so you're not touching.
yeah, I
Ooh.
mean, what I really hate is all the doors open inward, so you have to go in, and then when the door,
Mm.
when it swings open, practically hits the front of the toilet,
Yeah.
there's not a lot of room for you to fit in there,
No.
right? You have to kind of slide over to the side of the
Do it
toilet, and your
ballet. Yeah.
clothes are
Scrub.
brushing up against the toilet. It's so disgusting. I hate it. Or you feel like you're gonna, if you're in there and then you're trying to get out, you feel like you're gonna fall into the toilet trying to
Mhm.
get the door open.
Mhm.
I don't understand why they
crazy.
couldn't just make it even 6 inches bigger.
Really, or even on an airplane, now that we've flown first class, why are the first class bathrooms just a little bit better than the ones in coach? Like, you couldn't
Mhm.
just balance out the plane? Why do
Don't
you
the people
because
in
you pay
coach want a nice experience?
right, or just a little
No,
more
they
space?
don't. They're just packed in like sardines. I mean, I've never flown first class, so I don't know what a first class bathroom looks like, but
It's not that great, but it's just a little bit
it
bigger.
just, yeah, maybe they clean it more often too.
Probably so.
Completely different experience.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, someday I'd love to do that.
Treat yourself.
Yeah.
And on that note, Twitty Pot listeners, you got the extra coinage, you're going somewhere nice, you work hard, pay for the upgrades, you will never regret it.
Your life should be one of ease.
Hey everyone, and thanks for tuning in to another episode. If you enjoyed what you heard, please follow, comment, and reach out on our socials. Also, leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts. If you resonated with anything in the episode, be it products or topics, make sure to check the show notes for additional information, or shoot us an email if you like. See you next time.